I haven't had sex in months. The giant Apache girl tells Shy Rancher the twin sons of Hearth 9 were low in the sky when Eli Morno finished his evening rounds. The light turned the wide desert fields gold and red, and long shadows stretched from the fences that marked his ranch. The air smelled of dust and warm grass, and the gentle hum of the bio cattle filled the quiet. Eli liked this time of day. It was calm, safe. The universe felt far away when he was out here with simple work and simple thoughts. He was walking back toward the barn when the sky changed. A sharp streak of blue fire cut across the clouds, followed by a loud, deep boom that rolled across the land like thunder. The ground shook under Eli's boots. One of the cattle let out a frightened cry and ran toward the far fence. Eli froze, his heart pounding. Another flash followed, closer this time. Something fell from the sky and crashed into the desert just beyond the edge of his property. A cloud of dust and sand rose into the air, glowing in the light of the suns. Eli swallowed. Out here, strange things happen sometimes. Survey ships, traders, lost drones, but this was different. This was big. He looked at the barn, then back at the smoke rising in the distance. Every part of him wanted to stay where he was, safe behind metal walls and locked doors. But no one else lived for miles. If someone was hurt out there, they were alone. With a shaky breath, Eli grabbed a med pack from the side of the barn and climbed into his old Rover. The engine coughed before starting, and the vehicle rolled slowly across the dry land toward the crash site. As he got closer, he saw a long, dark shape half buried in the sand. It looked like a broken escape pod, its surface cracked and glowing faintly with fading energy lines. The door was open. Eli parked a short distance away and stepped out, the heat of the desert hitting his face. He held the med pack tight like it could protect him from anything that might step out of that pod. "Hello," he called, his voice small in the wide open space. I'm here to help." There was no answer at first, just the wind moving through the sand. Then something moved inside the pod. A large shadow filled the doorway. Slowly, a figure stepped out. Eli's breath caught in his throat. She was tall, taller than any human he had ever seen, at least 7 feet, maybe more. Her skin was a deep red-brown, like stone warmed by the sun. Dark markings ran along her arms and across her face in clean, sharp lines. Her eyes glowed a soft amber, catching the light of the suns. She wore a damaged suit of silver and dark blue armor, cracked in several places. One arm hung stiff at her side. She looked down at Eli. "Hello," she said. Her voice was calm, strong, not angry, not friendly, just honest. Eli tried to speak, but nothing came out. She tilted her head slightly, studying him. "You are small," she said. "Are you the one who lives here?" Eli nodded quickly. "Why, yes, yeah, I'm Eli. I have a ranch. You crashed." "I did," she said. "My name is Talakara." She took one step forward, then swayed. Her knee hit the ground with a heavy thud. Eli didn't think, he ran. He was at her side in seconds, trying to figure out how to help someone twice his size. Her armor was hot to the touch. Her breathing was slow but steady. "I've got a barn," he said fast. "It's got water and power and a med bed. I can try to help you." Tala looked at him, her glowing eyes focused on his face. "You are not afraid?" Eli laughed once, short and nervous. "Oh, I am very, but you look like you need help more than I need to run." For a moment she just stared at him, then slowly she smiled. It was not a big smile. Just a small lift at the corner of her mouth. "Very well, small human," she said. "Lead the way." Getting Tala back to the ranch was not easy. Eli had to bring out the cargo hauler and help her climb into the back. She moved carefully, like every step hurt, but she did not complain. The barn doors opened with a soft hiss. Inside, the lights came on, showing clean metal floors, storage racks, and the med bed against the far wall. Tala ducked to fit through the doorway. She looked around, taking in every detail. "You live alone," she said. "Yeah," Eli replied. "Just me and the cattle," she nodded slowly. "A quiet life." Eli helped her sit on the med bed and scanned her injuries. The display showed burns, deep bruises, and one cracked bone in her arm. Nothing life-threatening, but enough to slow her down. "I can fix most of this," Eli said. "It'll take a few hours." "Do it," Tala said. As the machine worked, Tala leaned back and looked up at the ceiling. Eli stood nearby, unsure what to do with his hands. The silence felt heavy. "So," Tala said suddenly, "I have not had a partner in many months." Eli choked on his own breath. "I'm sorry," he said, coughing. "What?" Tala turned her head to look at him. "Among my people, we speak openly about our needs. Emotional, physical, mental, it is healthy." Eli's face turned bright red. We don't really talk about that stuff with strangers. Tala considered this. That seems inefficient. Eli rubbed the back of his neck. Yeah. We're kind of weird like that. She studied him again, her glowing eyes softer now. You chose to help a stranger who fell from the sky. You live alone on a wide, empty world, yet you fear honest words. Eli thought about that. I guess, he said slowly, we're better at doing things than saying things. Tala nodded. That is a kind of strength. Hours passed. The sun set and the sky turned deep purple, then black, filled with stars. Tala's armor was removed, her injuries treated. She sat on a crate, her arm wrapped and resting in a sling. Eli brought her water and a simple meal pack. She tasted it, then smiled again. Strange, she said, but good. They sat in the open barn doorway, looking out at the stars. Your world is quiet, Tala said. My people move from system to system, always searching, always testing ourselves. What are you searching for? Eli asked. She thought for a moment. Connection, meaning, a place where we are not just warriors or travelers, somewhere we can be known. Eli looked down at his boots. I know that feeling. Tala glanced at him. You do? Yeah, he said. Out here it's just me most days. Sometimes I wonder if anyone would notice if I just disappeared. Tala stood up slowly. She walked over and stopped in front of him. She knelt so they were closer to the same height. I would notice, she said. Eli's chest felt tight. Far above them, a faint light moved across the sky. Tala looked up, her expression changing. My people are searching for me. Eli followed her gaze. Are they friendly? She hesitated. They do not understand humans. They think you are weak, small, easy to overlook. Eli swallowed. That sounds about right. Tala shook her head. They are wrong. The light in the sky grew brighter. Tala stood tall again. I must rest, but soon they will come. Eli nodded, nervous but steady. Then you can stay here as long as you need. Tala looked at him, really looked at him. You are stronger than you know, Eli Morno, she said. Eli managed a small smile. You're not so bad yourself, Talakara. The stars shone above them, silent witnesses to a meeting that neither of them yet understood would change more than just 2 lives. Morning came slowly on the ranch. The twin suns rose together, washing the land in soft gold light. The desert air was cool, and the wind carried the smell of dust and dry grass through the open barn doors. Eli woke up on a small cot near the medbed. For a moment, he forgot everything that had happened. Then he saw the tall shape sitting near the doorway. Talakara was awake, watching the horizon. Her bandaged arm rested in the sling, but she sat straight and alert, like a guard on duty. Oh, Eli said softly, you're up. She turned her head and looked at him. Humans sleep in strange positions, she said. Eli laughed quietly and sat up. Yeah, well, the floor isn't exactly built for comfort. He stood and stretched, then walked to the water station and poured 2 cups. He handed one to Tala. She took it carefully and drank. The pain is less, she said. Your machines are skilled. Glad to hear it, Eli replied. They sat together in silence for a moment, watching one of the cattle wander past the barn. The animal stopped and stared at Tala, then let out a low sound and walked away. She doesn't like me, Tala said. She doesn't like anything that's taller than the fence, Eli said. You're doing better than the delivery drones. Tala smiled a little. Eli took a breath. So your people, the ones in the sky, are they going to land? Yes, Tala said. Soon. Eli nodded, trying not to let his nerves show. Do they usually talk first or, do something else? They talk, Tala said, but their words are often sharp. That did not make Eli feel better. Later that morning, Eli showed Tala around the ranch. She had to duck through doorways and walk carefully around low beams, but she did not complain. She touched the metal walls, the fences, the water pumps, like she was trying to understand how everything worked. You built this alone? She asked. Mostly, Eli said. I had help at the start, but yeah, it's mine. That is impressive, Tala said. Among my people, nothing is built alone. Eli shrugged. Out here, you kind of have to learn how to do things yourself. They walked past the cattle pens. Tala watched the animals with interest. They are calm, she said. They're bred to be, Eli replied. Makes them easier to care for. Your people shape life to fit your needs, Tala said. That is a powerful thing. Eli frowned a little. I guess, I just think of it as making things work. A shadow passed over the ground. Tala stopped walking. Eli looked up. High above them, a large ship moved across the sky. It was long and curved, like a blade made of silver and dark metal. Lights ran along its sides, glowing blue and white. It was beautiful and terrifying. They are here, Tala said. The ship slowed and hovered in the air beyond the ranch. A beam of light reached down, touching the desert floor not far from the barn. Eli's heart pounded. 3 figures appeared in the light. They were like Tala, but even taller. Their armor was clean and sharp, marked with glowing symbols. Their eyes burned brighter, more intense. They walked toward the ranch, their steps heavy and sure. Tala moved forward to meet them. Eli stayed back, unsure what to do. The tallest of the 3 spoke first. His voice was deep and strong. "Talakara," he said, "you have been found." "I was not lost," Tala replied. "I was helped." The warrior's glowing eyes shifted to Eli. He looked him up and down. "This is the human?" he asked. "Yes," Tala said. "His name is Eli Morno." The warrior stepped closer. He towered over Eli, his shadow falling across him. "So small," he said. "So soft." Eli felt his throat go dry, but he stood his ground. "I'm just a rancher," Eli said, "but you're welcome here. My friend was hurt. I helped her." The second warrior let out a short laugh. "You call her friend?" "She is," Eli said simply. Tala glanced at him, surprised. The first warrior studied Eli for a long moment. "You live alone on this empty land," he said. "Why?" Eli thought about it. "Because someone has to," he said, "and I like it." The warrior did not seem impressed. Suddenly the ground trembled. A low, deep sound rolled across the desert like the sky itself was growling. Tala's head snapped up. "The storm," she said. Dark clouds were rising fast in the distance, swirling and flashing with light. The wind picked up, blowing sand across the ranch. Eli felt a cold knot form in his stomach. "That's not good," he said. "Those storms can tear apart buildings if your ship is still in the air." The ship above them rocked slightly as a strong gust of wind hit it. The warriors looked up, their calm breaking for the first time. "The energy in this world is unstable," one of them said. Eli ran to the control panel near the barn. He pulled up weather data and power maps. "If you keep the ship in the air, the storm's going to push it off balance," he said. "There's a flat rock field west of here. It's grounded, less charge in the air. You can land there." The tallest warrior stared at him. "You think you understand our ship better than we do?" "No," Eli said. "I think I understand my world." Tala stepped forward. "He speaks truth." Another blast of wind shook the ground. The warrior hesitated, then touched a symbol on his arm. The ship in the sky slowly turned and moved toward the west. The storm hit minutes later. The sky turned black. Sand and wind slammed into the barn walls. The cattle cried out in fear. Eli ran to secure the gates and power lines. One of the warriors followed him, watching closely. Eli climbed a ladder to fix a loose energy cable. The wind nearly knocked him off, but he held on, his hands burning with effort. The warrior reached up and steadied the ladder, holding it firm. Eli looked down at him. "Thanks," the warrior nodded once. When the storm finally passed, the world was quiet again. The ranch still stood. The ship rested safely on the distant rock field. The warriors gathered near Tala and Eli. The tallest one spoke again, but his voice had changed. "You acted without fear," he said to Eli. "You protected both your land and our people." Eli shrugged, tired. "I just did what needed to be done." Tala smiled. The warrior turned to Tala. "Perhaps we were wrong." Tala crossed her arms. "I told you." The warrior looked at Eli one last time. "You are small," he said, "but you are not weak." Eli felt something warm in his chest. That night, Tala sat with Eli under the stars again. "My people will remember this," she said. "They will remember you." Eli looked up at the sky. "I never thought anyone out there would." Tala placed a large hand gently on his shoulder. "You are known now," she said. The ranch felt different after the storm. The air was clean, and the ground was dark where the rain had touched the dust. Small lines of water ran through the sand like silver threads, catching the light of the twin suns as they rose again. Eli stood near the fence, watching the cattle move slowly back into their normal patterns. They seemed calmer now, like the storm had washed something heavy out of the world. Behind him, Talakara stepped out of the barn. Her arm was still in the sling, but she moved with more strength than before. "You did well yesterday," she said. Eli shrugged. "Just trying to keep my place from flying away," Tala smiled. "My people talk about you already," Eli blinked. "Already?" "Yes," she said. "They share stories quickly, a human who stood in a storm and told warriors where to land." "That sounds a lot cooler than what actually happened," Eli said. "Stories often grow," Tala replied, "but the heart of them stays true." Later that day, a small group of Apache warriors returned to the ranch. They did not wear full armor this time. Their weapons were not in their hands. It was a sign of respect. They stood near the barn, waiting. Eli felt nervous again, but he walked out to meet them. The tallest warrior, the same one from before, stepped forward. "We wish to speak with you," he said. Eli nodded. "Okay." They sat on crates and low rocks near the barn. The warriors had to crouch to fit in the space, but they did not seem to mind. Tala stood beside Eli like a bridge between two worlds. "Our people value strength," the warrior said. "We value action, courage, and survival." Eli listened quietly. "We believed humans were weak," the warrior continued. "We believed you hid behind machines and small bodies." Eli looked at his hands. They were rough and marked from years of work. "You showed us something else," the warrior said. "You showed us calm in danger, care for others, a different kind of strength." Eli did not know what to say. Tala spoke for him. "He shows what humanity is." The warrior nodded slowly. "We wish to understand more." So Eli talked. He told them about growing up on crowded colony stations, about noise and people everywhere. He told them why he chose a quiet world instead. He told them about the cattle, the storms, the long days, and lonely nights. The warriors listened in silence. When he finished, one of them spoke. "You choose this life?" "Yes," Eli said, "even when it's hard." "That is a warrior's choice," the Apache said. That evening, Tala and Eli walked out to a small hill near the ranch. From there, they could see the Apache ship resting in the distance, shining in the fading light. "Tala," Eli said, "are you going to leave soon?" She was quiet for a long moment. "Yes," she said, "but not yet." Eli nodded. He tried to hide the small ache in his chest. "My people want me to stay and help build something new," Tala continued. "A connection, not just trade, not just watching from far away." "That sounds important," Eli said. "It is," she agreed, "but it is also heavy." They sat on the hill as the suns dipped low. Later that night, a signal came from the ship. The warriors gathered near the barn again, this time with serious faces. "The leaders of our people wish to test humanity," the tallest warrior said. "Not with weapons, not with war." Eli frowned. "Then how?" "With trials," the warrior said. "Of mind, of heart." Tala looked at Eli. "They want to see what humans truly value." Eli took a slow breath. "And you want me to do this?" "Yes," Tala said softly. The first trial came the next morning. The warriors brought a small device and placed it on a table in the barn. It glowed with soft light. "This is a memory lens," one of them explained. "It shows what is held deepest in the mind." Eli stared at it. "You want to look inside my head?" "We want to see what you care about most," the warrior said. Eli hesitated. Then he nodded and placed his hand on the device. Light filled the barn. Images appeared in the air. A young Eli standing on a crowded station holding his mother's hand. His father teaching him how to fix a broken machine. His first day on the ranch, standing alone in a wide, empty field. Long nights under the stars, moments of doubt, moments of quiet pride. The warriors watched in silence. The light faded. The tallest warrior spoke. "You do not dream of power, you do not dream of conquest." Eli shook his head. "I just want to build something that lasts." The second trial came that afternoon. One of the warriors pretended to fall, crying out in pain. It was an act, but Eli did not know that. He ran forward without thinking, grabbing his med pack, trying to help. Only after the warrior stood up unharmed did Eli realize it was a test. The warrior bowed his head slightly. "You act before you judge." "That's just how I am," Eli said. The final trial came at night. Tala stood beside Eli near the barn as the tallest warrior spoke. "Our people believe that fear must be hidden," he said. "That's showing it is weakness." He looked at Eli. "Show us your fear." Eli swallowed. He looked at the dark sky, at the ship, at the wide, empty land. "I'm afraid," he said slowly, "that I don't matter, that what I do out here won't change anything, that when I'm gone, the wind will just blow over my fences and no one will remember I was here." The barn was silent. Tala felt something tighten in her chest. The warriors looked at one another. "You say this openly," the tallest one said. Eli nodded. "Yeah, I guess I do." "That," the warrior said, "is strength." The next day, a message was sent from the ship to the wider Apache fleet. Tala stood with Eli as the light beam rose into the sky, carrying words across the stars. "They will know about you now," Tala said. Eli smiled weakly. "Hope they don't all decide to visit." Tala laughed, a deep, warm sound. That evening, they walked the fence line together. "Tala," Eli said, "when you go back out there, will you forget this place?" She stopped and turned to him. "No," she said. "This is where my people learn something new." She reached into a small pouch at her side and pulled out a thin, glowing disc. She placed it in Eli's hand. "This will let you speak to me," she said. "No matter how far apart we are." Eli stared at it. "That's a big gift." "You are a big part of my story now," Tala replied. They stood there as the stars came out, side by side. Somewhere in the dark, ships moved and signals traveled. And on a quiet ranch at the edge of human space, a shy rancher and a giant warrior from the sky stood together, knowing the universe had just become a little smaller and a lot more connected. The days after the trials passed in a strange calm. The ranch was still the same place. The fences stood where they always had. The cattle moved slowly across the land, chewing and resting in the heat. The twin suns rose and set, painting the sky with the same colors as always. But Eli felt different. He noticed it when he woke up in the morning and did not feel quite so small. He noticed it when he walked past the Apache warriors and they nodded to him, not with curiosity, but with respect. Talakara stayed close during those days. Her arm healed quickly, and soon she no longer needed the sling. She helped Eli with simple ranch work, learning how to guide the cattle and repair the fences. Her large hands were careful, and she listened closely when Eli explained things. "You teach with patience," she said once. "I don't know any other way," Eli replied. That evening, the Apache leaders came down from their ship again. This time, more of them arrived, elders, warriors, and thinkers, their armor marked with symbols of rank and history. They gathered in front of the barn, forming a wide circle. Eli stood at the center with Tala beside him. The tallest elder stepped forward. His hair was streaked with silver and his eyes burned with quiet strength. "We have watched," the elder said. "We have listened. We have tested." Eli kept his hands at his sides, steady. "You do not fight," the elder continued. "You do not command armies, you do not seek to rule." "No," Eli said. "I just take care of what's in front of me." The elder nodded. "That is why you stand here." A low murmur moved through the Apache group. "Our people believed size and force were the highest measures of worth," the elder said. "But you have shown us another path." He turned to Tala. "You brought this lesson to us." Tala bowed her head slightly. "I only showed them where to look." The elder looked back at Eli. "We wish to form a bond with humanity, not one of control, not one of fear." Eli felt his heart beat faster. "We ask you," the elder said, "to speak for your people." Eli froze. "Me?" "You," the elder said. Eli looked at Tala, panic flashing across his face. She leaned down slightly and spoke softly. "You already have." Eli took a deep breath. He looked at the gathered giants, then at the barn, the land, the sky. "I don't know much about politics," he said honestly. "I don't know how to speak fancy or make big promises." "That is acceptable," the elder said. "But I know this," Eli continued. "Most humans just want to live their lives. We build, we fix. We care for each other when we can. We get scared, we mess up, but we keep trying." The circle was silent. "If you come to us as friends," Eli said, "we'll meet you halfway. If you come as judges, we'll still stand. Maybe not loudly, but we won't disappear." The elder studied him for a long moment. Then he placed one massive hand over his chest. It was a gesture of deep respect. "Then let it be known," the elder said, "that humanity stands." The Apache warriors followed the gesture one by one. Eli felt his throat tighten. Later that night, Tala and Eli walked beyond the barn, away from the lights. The stars stretched across the sky, bright and endless. "You changed many minds today," Tala said. "I just said what felt true," Eli replied. "That is the hardest kind of truth," she said. Eli hesitated. "Tala, when this is done, will you go with them?" "Yes," she said softly. "My path leads back to the stars." Eli nodded, staring at the ground. "But," Tala added, "it also leads here." Eli looked up. "My people have asked me to be a bridge," she said, "to return often, to learn from humans, to teach them about us." A small smile formed on Eli's face. "So you'll visit?" "Yes," Tala said, "if you will have me." "I'd like that," Eli said quietly. The following days were busy. Messages were sent between ships and distant human colonies. Scouts arrived, curious and careful. Humans and Apache met for the first time under open skies instead of battle alarms. Eli found himself guiding conversations, explaining simple things. How humans shared food. How they argued and forgave. How they measured success not just by winning, but by surviving together. The Apache listened. One afternoon, a young Apache warrior approached Eli. "Why did you not boast during the trials?" the warrior asked. Eli thought for a moment. "Because I don't think strength needs an audience." The warrior considered that, then nodded. That night, Tala stood alone near the edge of the ranch, looking up at her ship. Eli joined her. "They will leave tomorrow," she said. "Yeah," Eli replied. Silence stretched between them. "Tala," Eli said, "do you ever feel like you don't fully belong anywhere?" She looked at him, surprised. "Yes," she said. "Often." Eli smiled softly. "Me too." She reached out and gently touched his shoulder again, the same way she had on the first night. "Then perhaps," she said, "we both belong in more than one place." The next morning, the Apache ship powered up. Wind and dust swirled across the land. Humans and Apache stood together, watching. The elder stepped forward one last time. "This world will be remembered," he said, "not for its storms, but for its people." He looked at Eli. "You have shown us that the smallest voice can carry across the stars." Eli swallowed. "I'll try to live up to that." The ship rose into the sky, light reflecting off its hull. Tala stood beside Eli until the very last moment. Then she turned to him. "I will return," she said. "I'll be here," Eli replied. As the ship disappeared into the sky, the ranch felt quiet again. But it was a different kind of quiet. It was the quiet of something finished and something new just beginning. Eli looked out over his land, the fences, the cattle, the wide open world. He was still a rancher, still shy, still human. But now the universe knew his name. The ranch felt empty after the Apache ship left. The sky looked the same, the sun still rose and set, and the wind still moved across the land. But something was missing. The tall shape in the barn doorway, the deep voice that spoke like every word mattered, the feeling that the universe had leaned in close to listen. Eli went back to his work. He fixed fences, checked water lines, and guided the cattle across the fields. His days fell into their old patterns, but his thoughts did not. Sometimes he looked up at the stars without realizing it, wondering where Talakura was and what she was seeing. At night, he sat near the barn and held the glowing disk she had given him. He had not used it yet. He did not know what to say. Weeks passed. Then one evening, as the suns dipped low and the sky turned soft orange, the disk in Eli's hand began to glow brighter. It made a gentle sound. Eli's heart jumped. He stood up so fast he almost dropped it. He pressed his thumb to the surface. A soft light formed in the air and Tala's image appeared. She looked tired, but she was smiling. "Eli Morno," she said. "You took your time." Eli laughed, a little shaky. "I didn't know how to start." "That is very human," Tala replied. Behind her, Eli could see part of a large room filled with stars through wide windows, the inside of a ship moving through space. "How are you?" Eli asked. "I am well," she said. "Busy, my people talk about you often." "That's still weird to hear," Eli said. "They call you the quiet anchor," Tala said, "the one who stood still while the storm moved around him." Eli rubbed the back of his neck. "I kind of like that." Their conversations became a part of Eli's life. Sometimes they spoke for only a few minutes, sometimes for hours. Tala told him about distant worlds, bright cities in space, and the way her people were starting to change how they met new species. Eli told her about small things, a calf being born, a fence that refused to stay upright, a night when the stars seemed closer than usual. The universe felt less big when he could talk to someone inside it. Months later, a signal came to the human colonies. The Apache wanted a meeting, not in space, on Hearth 9. Ships arrived from nearby systems. Human diplomats, scientists, and explorers landed near Eli's ranch. They set up tents, lights, and communication towers across the desert. Eli watched it all from his barn, feeling very small again. Tala arrived with the Apache fleet. When she stepped down from her ship, she saw Eli waiting near the fence. She walked toward him, her long steps steady and sure. "You are still here," she said. "I told you I would be," Eli replied. She smiled, wide and real this time. The meeting lasted for days. Humans and Apache sat together under open skies. They talked about trade, travel, shared protection, and shared knowledge. They argued sometimes. They laughed sometimes. Eli did not speak much. He did not need to. People pointed him out. They told his story, the rancher who helped a fallen warrior, the human who stood in a storm and told giants where to land. Tala stayed near him when she could. One evening, after the day's talks ended, they walked beyond the lights of the camp. The stars were bright above them. "My people are changing," Tala said. "They listen more now. They ask instead of decide." Eli nodded. "Sounds like a good start." "You started it," she said. "I just opened my barn door," Eli replied. "Sometimes," Tala said, "that is enough to change a galaxy." The final day of the meeting came. The Apache elder stood before both groups. His voice carried across the desert. "Today," he said, "we do not form a treaty of power, we form a bond of trust." He raised a symbol of light into the air. "Let it be known that humans are not small in spirit. Let it be known that strength can be quiet. Let it be known that we stand together." Humans and Apache echoed the gesture in their own ways. Some placed hands over hearts. Some raised their heads to the sky. Eli felt something warm and heavy in his chest. After the crowd began to leave, Tala and Eli stood alone near the barn one last time. "My path will take me far again," Tala said. Eli nodded. "I figured. But," she added, "this place will always be part of it." She reached into a pouch and pulled out a second glowing disc. "This is for your world," she said. "A signal point, a door that is always open." Eli took it carefully. "That's a big responsibility." "You are good with big things that look small," Tala said. They stood in silence for a moment. "Eli Morno," Tala said, "my people measure life by the marks we leave on the stars." Eli looked up. "I don't think I'll ever leave this planet." "You already have," Tala said gently. She placed her hand over his chest. "Right here." Eli swallowed. The Apache ships lifted into the sky one by one, their lights fading into the dark. Tala stepped onto her ship and turned back one last time. "I will see you again," she said. "I'll be waiting," Eli replied. The sky grew quiet. Life returned to normal slowly. But now, sometimes, ships passed overhead. Sometimes messages came from distant worlds. Sometimes travelers stopped by the ranch, curious to see the place where a story began. Eli welcomed them all. Years later, children in human colonies and Apache fleets heard the same tale. Not about a battle, not about a war, but about a shy rancher who opened his door to a stranger from the sky, about a giant warrior who learned that the smallest voices could carry the farthest, and about a moment on a quiet world under twin suns when humanity was truly seen. Eli still walked his fence lines, still watched the stars, still lived a simple life. But now, when he looked up, he did not feel small, he felt connected.